Hello and welcome to a video on narratives. A narrative is a popular genre of writing, and it tells a story with the purpose of entertaining the reader or listener. Often, narrative writing is referred to as creative writing or storytelling. Telling and sharing stories is a key part of all cultures. We hear and see stories everywhere and every day. They can be both fact or fiction. There are many types of narrative texts, such as picture books, short stories, novels, and traditional tales. Often these are shared through oral retellings. Unlike other genres of writing, narrative texts consist of a variety of subgenres. For example, adventure, fantasy, fairy tales, drama, sci-fi, and many more. Narratives usually follow a clear and simple structure, with a beginning, called the orientation, middle, the complication and events, and end, often referred to as the resolution. The orientation is where the storyteller sets the scene. This involves answering two central questions. Where is the story taking place, and when is it taking place? The answers to these questions depend on the type of story being told. Casting characters is another important part of the orientation and answers the question, who is the story about? In short stories, there is often only one main character with a few secondary characters. The middle of a story, or the complication, can also be called the problem. Without a problem, there is no story. The problem or complication is the driving force of the action and the plot of the story. This problem is often a hurdle that the main character must overcome, and from this, key events in the story take place, forming the plot. As these events take place, the narrative builds to a climax, which is the high point of the action. This is the point in the story which determines if it will have a happy or tragic ending. And finally, the resolution is the end of the narrative, where loose ends are tied up after the climactic action. Often readers or listeners have questions that have not been answered throughout the events of the complication. In the resolution, these questions are usually answered. So, in summary, a narrative is a text that tells a story. It can be fact or fiction. Narratives follow a clear structure. They have an orientation, a complication and events, and a resolution.